sometimes I can push the sound and sometimes I cannot. Oh, there. I think I might have figured out why. Got it. Yay. Okay. Look at me. We are live on YouTube, just resizing this to make sure it fits. Guys, tap the screen, share the live. Please gift, please subscribe. I will start the show momentarily, just resizing this to. I need to figure that out, how to have the chat. Oh, I need to put, is that because of the chat's not inside? That might be it. Hold on. I need to figure that out. I'll figure that out later. That will be the next thing on my list of things to learn. Almost done, guys. Okay, that will be good enough for now. I don't know. I need to know like why yesterday when I was pushing the live to YouTube when I was debating with Pickles, it was the chat is underneath and you can see it and now it's not. I'm not sure why that would be. I need to figure that out though. Like it was fine with Pickles lives, but I noticed the same thing. Um I noticed the same thing with facts this morning. I'll just have to play around and experiment onwards and upwards. We have so much to talk about today, so I'll work on the rest of this later. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Hey, can you guys hear me okay? Let me turn on my casting. So much to talk about today. Let me make sure I'm centered correctly. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. So much. Okay, I've talked about the Resistance HQ bulletin before. These I usually put these in our outlines every day. This is from the editor in chief of Midas Touch, Ron Filipkowski. He makes these. Um, I have a terrible time reading these comments in these studio lives because the letters are white. Huh. Interesting. Hold on, sorry, and I just read that. Call me Dyke, love the name. I'm following you. You can message me if you would like. I don't check. It's hard for me to check messages because sometimes it affects my mental health. So, but I did follow you. I saw your message. Um, yeah, so I'm like so in studio TikTok studio, you're saying if I'm getting this right that the comments are a different color or the letters in the comments are a different color than they are in other lives. Yeah, and I need to figure out a lot of things still. I just started pushing these lives to YouTube. So I have a couple of things to still learn. I'm using Streamlabs Ultra and it's a learning process. So I have a lot of things to look into and different formatting questions. So like I've kind of got it basically figured out, but there's a million more ways I want to format these lives and make them look better and if see if there's a way to change certain things. So we'll figure that out as we go along. Like we have a lot to figure out, but the background isn't dark enough. Oh, you mean on, oh, well, that's neither here nor there. I'll look into that later. Actually, let's see. It might maybe I can change that a little quicker. Let me look. I scenes. Let's see if I can find switch scenes might stop here. Yeah, that's fine. Let me see if I can find a darker. Oh, never mind. I'm not doing that now. Yeah, never mind. I just realized to switch the background, I'm gonna have to like I have to start from the beginning again. Sorry. TikTok Studio is a little confusing and not that simple. So I just want to make sure I don't waste any more time. I want to get through this and get as much of this done as possible because I have a lot of important things. I just got flagged for hate speech. What did I say wrong? I literally my live just got flagged for hate speech. MAGA is so sensitive. Literally. Just got yeah, I'm not gonna fix anything now, like, sorry, just deal with it. Yeah, literally, my live just got yeah, everyone say they love the TikTok shop so we can move on. Guys, tap the screen. Please subscribe. I was on Fax's live today. Um, I think I'm gonna my good announcement for this week is I think Fax and I are gonna do another live together next Monday, so we'll be together again next Monday morning. I think that was really successful. We talked about the rise of Russian propaganda. I thought it went really well. It was really informational. So I'm not sure what topic we'll be doing, but look for me on Fax Live again next Monday morning. Next announcement, and I talked about this a couple times, but just tomorrow will be the first live with Potty Mouth Pollyanna, Mandy, and Danielle. In her handle, a TikTok handle is In Bed with Danielle. We're going to do a show that's geared towards the women's resistance and how conservative policies are affecting and hurting women in America. Not to say that that is not, not to say that we do not want male allies and men to be a part of that. We absolutely do. So, but please tell people, join. I'll put reminders in the Discord. I'm going to try and make a TikTok. I've had so much on my plate the last couple weeks. I've just been exhausted, but I'll try to make a TikTok as a reminder also. But if you could help me out by reminding people, that would be amazing. So let's get started. Again, I suggest these, I believe, go through Substack. So I suggest everyone you can subscribe to this. This is Ron Filipkowski. He's now the editor in chief of Midas Touch, but he was a Republican political strategist turned never Trumper from Florida, now turned Midas Touch editor in chief, and he writes these daily bulletins and kind of summarizes in short blurbs, right? If you're looking to just know, hey, I want to keep up with what's going on in politics. I can't do all this reading. I have a job. I have a life. I suggest these, and I'll try to include these. And I think I might start with like I'm going to go through them every day, and then the interesting ones I'm going to try to highlight at the beginning of the show because I think it's a quick way rather than going through too many articles to cover things. So I'm just going to go through some of these that I thought, oh, I just realized I am not in the shared out. Give me one more second. Yeah, I think it's a great oh, I am. I'm just going the wrong way. I think it's a great way to to know every day what's going on, but not have to spend hours trying to do it, other than doing it through this show. Okay, so and I actually learned things from this because as someone that's always on there's no way to follow a 24-hour news cycle anymore. Like you need help. You need people aggregating the news for you. Again, you guys, all the research I do, the spots on everyone's show, all the research, I do rely on tips and donations to keep my show going, to appear on other people's show, and to do all this research. If you would like to donate, please feel free. This is my Cash App and Venmo. It's the same as my name on TikTok. A girl has no name with two Z's. And please also subscribe, join the community. It is much appreciated. And I think furthermore, and I think Mandy and Danny and I might talk about this tomorrow. That show is going to start at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It will be 2 hours. So if you're on Pacific time, 10 to 12. If you're on Eastern time, it's going to be 1 to 3. I think you can figure out from there. But I think I'm if you donate I want to go to the Women's March. I believe it is January 17th. And Danny and Mandy and I were talking about going, raising money to go and then doing some content while there. It'll be interesting because it's very close to January 20th. I don't even know if there will be hotel rooms available. It's something we need to look into. Are you going, Toodle? I just saw that you're going to the Women's March. That's awesome. It's the 8th. Yeah, it's somewhere. I think we'd fly in on the 17th, maybe. It's in DC. Yeah, so it's in DC, and it's usually right around January 20th, like Trump, the transition of power will be happening as well. It's a pretty hectic time in DC usually. Yeah, and there's yes, and great point. There's ways to participate closer to home as well. Like if you're not going to be showing up in DC, I don't know if I'll be able to. I need to raise the money. It's traveling to DC, period. Getting a hotel room in DC is exorbitantly expensive. So it will depend on if I can raise enough money, make enough money in time to book the ticket, where it's not like insanely expensive. But again, we'll talk about that more tomorrow on loosely titled The Broadcast. Get it? Broadcast. Three women. No, I mean, we have some tight working title names. That's one of them we thought were really funny, but we'll figure it out. So again, I do hope to go to the Women's March. Yeah, there's local ones. I think that's a good thing to point out. You don't have to show up in DC at the Women's March. There are hyper local ones, or even there's online activities. There's many different ways, but I think it's a great year for women to really be in solidarity, gather, and participate in some way. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow morning. Um, Okay, so again, this is the Resistance HQ. These are daily updates Ron Filipkowski does. And then on the weekends, he just summarizes the weekend. But I want to take you through some of the ones I thought were interesting. So, oh my God, James Comer is still going. So, everyone will tell you that Matt Gaetz is very intelligent. This is a quote from James Comer. Everyone will tell you that Matt Gaetz is very intelligent. He's been right about all the wrongdoing that he has weeded out. I think Gaetz deserves an opportunity. Gates has weeded and accomplished nothing, just like the oversight chair Comer. That's Ron's comment. But listen to the even crazier part, because I think maybe we might, if we could get a copy of this without having to pay for it, I think we should. Like, in what world, James Comer? Meanwhile, Comer has a new book coming out in time for Christmas about his failed impeachment investigation of Joe Biden based on allegations against Hunter. Like, I mean, we all lived it in real time, but can you believe that James Comer wrote a book about this? What in the F is he even saying? Like, like, oh, hey, I fell victim to Russian propaganda and then I spewed it and I used millions of dollars of taxpayers' money. And then it turns out like the people that or the witnesses I used all turned out to be or people acting as unregistered foreign agents on US soil. Like that doesn't need to be a book. We can say it. I just said it. Like I summarized it right there. Um, yeah. So also Kober can grift off a book and file a report that nobody will read. Like anything for a money grab. I thought this was really interesting. And it kind of goes back to if you were in fact Still Matters Live earlier today, when we started talking at the end, some of these Blue Anons type, like, what about the vote count? And I was talking about how I've read probability projections of when the millions of votes are counted. By the way, thank you so much, Curious Cat Mom. Love a cat mom. I am one myself. Mr. Mittens, thanks you for subscribing. Um, I thought this just is more telling because I saw people in the comments saying, "Oh, there's 15 million people that didn't show up and all that." No, it when all the votes are counted, it is going to be the smallest margin in history. Trump will have won the popular vote by such a tiny margin. It says Trump has now fallen below 50% of the popular vote and will finish with the third narrowest victory in the past 136 years. Right now, just 238,000 votes in 3 states would have flipped the election to Harris. But MAGA continues to talk about Trump's huge mandate. So that's how close this election is. So I think that right the day after the election, people were like, oh, 15 million people didn't show up. This election is much closer, or will end up much closer than people think. I thought this was interesting. Elon Musk, the first lady, Elania Muscartina, Elon Musk mocked President Zelensky for his comments that Trump cannot force them to surrender and give up territory because they are an independent nation that does not have to follow orders from Trump. Here's a quote from Musk. His sense of humor is amazing. I guess Musk rules the world now after buying Trump and will just trash talk a man who has been fending off a barbarian horde of his people for 2 years. I know, like, what is going on? Trump attended the UFC fight on this is the one on Friday, Trump it was his triumphant return to Madison Square Garden. I do not suggest you watch clips. I, however, did watch it. Um Musk was there, Don Jr., RFK Jr., Mike Johnson, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Kid Rock. Oh joy. Sitting next to Trump on his left was Elon Musk, and on his right was Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the Saudi official who runs their $1 trillion public investment fund. The fund is the largest investor in X, right? This is the fund, the Saudi fund that made it possible for Elon Musk to buy X, gave Jared Kushner 2 billion to invest. Remember the 2 billion to Jared Kushner? Same fund, Trump's sitting next to this guy at the UFC fight to invest and I'm sorry, it was Saturday night. Did I say if I said Friday, it was Saturday. Tens of millions in fees despite making them no money. Has partnered with Trump on golf tournaments um, and invested in Trump's new golf resort under construction in Oman. Nothing to see here. Like, dear Lord Jesus, like what is going on? Yeah. So, and then I was talking about this a little earlier on Faxes Live, but Trump's Secretary of Defense nominee, Pete Hegseth, Pete Hegseth's lawyers, and this is in today's outline. It's a Washington Post exclusive if you want to read more into it. Um, Pete Hegseth's lawyers addressed publicly the past allegations of SA, of grape, more specifically against him. And this is so funny. This is the truth, too. This is the logic. This is what the lawyer said. Quote, she was the aggressor. She was sober. He was drunk. She took advantage of him. End quote. But this is wrong. But he paid her off in exchange for an NDA. Think about it. He paid her off in exchange for an NDA. So think about that logic. So the guy who preached about eroding values as the main problem in America has 7 kids with 3 different women, including a child with someone he had an affair with, who's a Fox producer, right? And also had paid for an NDA on the other incident where the woman claimed he essayed her to keep her from speaking publicly about it. If he was the victim, do you understand how crazy that is? If you're the victim of SA, do you need to pay somebody off and force them to sign an NDA so they don't speak publicly about assaulting you? You know what I'm saying? Typically, victims would want the truth to come out. Like it's very the logic is not logicking. Make it make sense, Pete. Can't wait for that confirmation hearing. Oh, this is disturbing. This is Elon Musk from the Department of Government Efficiency that is fake. Elon Musk has now joined the cause of Alex Jones. So these are parents of children that were unalived, right, at Sandy Hook, who sued Alex Jones. His stuff was auctioned off. The Onion bought InfoWars. And now Elon Musk is having his lawyers file a notice of appearance in his legal case to try and help him get the sale of InfoWars overturned. So Musk is now involved in fighting against the Sandy Hook parents. He is fighting against the Sandy Hook parents. I mean, I just want to be clear on that. To help some guy who lied about children being unalived. Yeah, that won't age well, or will no one care? At this point, I don't know. It's hard to determine at this point. Will anyone care? I guess we're on the wrong timeline, guys. I know. Amen to that. We are super in the wrong. We are in the darkest timeline where nothing makes any sense. It's like that's my first thought. Someone said this is not gonna age well. I was like, "Oh, this is awful." And then I'm like, "Actually, I don't know. Is it awful or, like maybe no one will care." Um This is back to the appointments, the cabinet appointments. So the Trump transition team is electing to bypass FBI background checks. That's how shady these appointments are. We are now bypassing background checks on some of its nominees, opting instead to use, or I'm sorry, FBI background checks. So, and Trump had a history of doing this. He goes to private security companies, right? They are not required to do this, although every incoming president since World War II has. I talked a little, and this is again Ron talking. So, in yesterday's column, which I always suggest reading Ron's columns, they're great, about Trump making his cabinet appointments as recess appointments to get them in office prior to Senate confirmation hearings and votes. And this is interesting because some of this I did not understand before reading this. So that would mean that both the House and the Senate would have to vote to adjourn. Okay, so in order for recess appointments to happen, both the House and the Senate have to vote to adjourn. With a 3-seat majority in the Senate and a 4 to 5 seat majority in the House, it would take almost every Republican in both chambers to go along with that after Trump takes office. So if one of the chambers, most likely the Senate, because based on what a lot of the senators are saying, it's giving no, right? Does not agree to adjourn, but the other does. So let's say the Senate's like, we're not adjourning, but the House adjourns, right? Then the president has the power to order them adjourned at that point. So if the House adjourns, but the Senate doesn't, I guess Trump can technically legally order them adjourned. However, that has never been done in the history of the United States. Trump does not believe in the separation of powers. He views the presidency as if it has monarchical powers. So I certainly would not put it past him to try everything in his power to bypass the Senate advice and consent powers to put the craziest in charge of the massive federal agencies, including those with access to highly sensitive intelligence with the stroke of a pen and procedural gimmicks. Like, amen. I could not agree more because it's not looking good for Matt Gaetz, right? So, like, I didn't actually know that if one of them adjourns, he can force the other. So, I would say probably his best chance for Matt Gaetz is if the House agrees to adjourn and then he can force the Senate too. Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you, McAngry Raid. Thank you so much. Guys, keep tapping the screen, share the live gift, please subscribe. Okay. Yeah, and this is the truth. I thought truer words were never spoken here. Once again, we have to rely on the courage and integrity of a handful of establishment Republicans to stand up to Trump and stand up for the Constitution. And this is the part I say is so true. Each successive year since 2017, the number of Republicans willing to do that has steadily decreased. It may be zero now. Like, I think about just watching the moderate Republicans leave during the 118th Congress. How many moderate Republicans, the ones that would stand up to him, just left? Mike Gallagher, Ken Buck. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like I want to criticize John Thune. I've never agreed with a thing the Golden Boy John Thune, Mitch McConnell's Golden Boy, has ever said. But should I oppose him or is he our best chance? If John Thune goes, who's next up? Rick Scott? I think not. Like, we're in such an interesting situation. And so this is an example of that too. Like, think about this logic. Mike Pence probably has done something smart. I don't like this, but like, do I care about the logic or do I just care about the outcome? I think we're at the point. Thank you so much, Matt Wright. I love Matt. He is absolutely the best. Mike Pence has come out against Trump's nomination of RFK Jr. But way he's doing it is gross, right? He said, for the majority of his career, RFK Jr. has defended AB on demand during all 9 months of pregnancy, supports overturning Dobbs. If confirmed, RFK Jr. would be the most pro AB Republican appointed HHS secretary in history. And so here's the logic, though. Think about it. Should we be mad about that? That he's making a pro life argument, or should we be thankful? Because it certainly would provide an interesting out for Republicans, right? Because what out if they don't confirm RFK, Trump's going to primary all of them. We hear Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tommy Tuberville and so many other Republicans making these threats saying, hey, you vote to confirm or, you'll be sorry. So it's an interesting out for them because maybe if they make the pro-choice argument, I mean pro-life argument, it could stop them from being primaried. Like as long as 4 vote against him, I don't care what their reasons are. That's what Ron says. I agree with that. I don't care the logic they use to get there. I think what's most important is we do not have RFK as HHS secretary. Like that would be the most important part. So it's interesting. It's like I don't like how they're trying to get there, but I really hope they get there. Yeah, exactly. Whatever works. Like this is we can't be picky at this point. Like oh, I think this is funny too, because actually I was debating with Pickles last night and someone brought this up as like a in your face, gotcha. Like, so Bernie Sanders said that he is looking forward to Trump keeping his campaign promise to cap credit card interest rates at 10% and is happy to work with him and Senate Republicans on the bill. So this guy that was debating us last night was like, yeah, even Bernie Sanders wants to work with Trump, like in your face. But that's not what he's saying. Bernie Sanders is trolling Trump because Trump has no intention of keeping that promise. Like, can you imagine finance like finance institute banks and stuff will be so mad. So, I mean, in my view, Bernie's saying, "Hey, if you want to do it, I'll help you," knowing full well is Trump ever going to do that? No. Oh, I thought this was quite interesting too. We got some more buyer's remorse from people that were supporting Trump, right? And I'm going to butcher this, but I think it's Rabiul Chowdhury, chair of the Muslim group Abandon Harris, right? This is another one of those groups that campaigned for Trump saying, they didn't get a ceasefire fast enough. We're not going to support the Democratic Party. But now the leader of this group called Abandon Harris in Pennsylvania is complaining that Trump won in Pennsylvania, Michigan because of them. And now, shocker, you guys, they aren't happy because he seems to be abandoning his campaign promises to them to side with Israel. Huh. Oh, Trump's no new wars things that he's for peace turned out not to be true. Wait till I show you this clip of Marco Rubio in Congress. I don't know if you guys saw it in the congressional halls yesterday. Oh my God, Marco Rubio went off. Like someone's trying to ask him, like, what are you gonna do for the Palestinians? And Marco Rubio's like, "Are you filming this? Are you filming this?" Actually, maybe I should find it right now because it's just too good to not be like, and hey, you guys, it's so weird that Trump's going back on everything. Oh, no new wars. Oh, it turns out Trump and everyone he put into power are a bunch of warmongers. I am shocked. Oh, wait. No, I am not. I am not shocked at all because this is who Donald Trump is. Hold on, let me just find the right. Is this it? See, shout out to Cootery for making this picture, this background. I love it. Amazing graphic artist for the win. Mm, I'm not, I need to figure out where it is. Oh no. Oh my God. I can't show you guys that yet. You're gonna die. My God. I have so many funny things to show you guys today. I don't think we're gonna make it through this show. People, oh, here. Okay, I think I found it. Yep, this is perfect. I just remembered, and also we should follow this guy because I don't know who he is, but very helpful. Can you guys hear it? I can't hear it. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure it's not just that one. Can you guys hear it? Okay, just checking. Give me 1 second. But why wouldn't we be able? I think my computer.